Welcome to The District, the show about the people, places, and events of Tulsa's Brady Arts District. I'm Anina Collier, your host, and today we are here at 36 Degrees North, Tulsa's base camp for entrepreneurs. We're going to talk to Executive Director Dustin Curzon, as well as a couple of the business owners who are members here on The District. Dustin, thank you so much for joining us on The District.
Thanks, Anina. Glad to be here.
Yeah, so tell us, for people who don't know anything about 36 Degrees North, what is it?
So 36 Degrees North is an entrepreneur hub down here in the Brady Arts District. We are Tulsa's base camp for entrepreneurs. It's a place that any entrepreneur, whether they're starting out or have been in business for a long time, can come to have a place to work, can get connected to a community of other entrepreneurs, and can find resources they need to build their businesses.
That's great. And so I'm sure you get this question all the time. What does the name 36 Degrees North mean?
Yeah, so 36 Degrees North is the latitude line that goes through the city of Tulsa. So for us, it really conveys that we are a physical place, which is an important part of our identity, but it's also just a point on a line. It's a place where people are here for a set amount of time, and then they're off continuing to build their businesses.
Yeah, that's great. So you have so many different programs and partnersyears. Can you tell us about a few of them?
Yeah, we have a lot of things going on.
It's like, where do you start,
at 36? Yeah, we last year we hosted 325 events.
Oh my goodness, that's every day.
Yeah, there's always something going on, usually a couple times a day around here. We partner with over 40 different organizations, including TCC, the universities, the City of Tulsa, SCORE, Small Business Administration, you name it. Tulsa Tech, the Chamber. We're for a lot of those programs, and some of them around education for entrepreneurs. It could be a workshop on marketing or taxes or accounting, things like that. We spend a lot of our time, though, also just working on networking, mentorship, the human part of entrepreneurship, where people can get connected, and that's a big value of what happens when you're a member here.
And I know you've been really involved in the Tulsa entrepreneurial community for a while, and obviously that's part of why they brought you in to lead 36 Degrees North. So as you were envisioning what this organization would do, how did you see it fitting into that landscape, and how is it meeting needs that other parts of the landscape weren't meeting for entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I think Tulsa has had a really strong entrepreneur community for quite a while, and it's part of our DNA, I think, as a city. But you have programs like the Forge that was really a front runner of getting co-working and incubator programs really up and going. 1 Million Cups, Cultivate 918, Lubbock Taylor's State of Entrepreneurship Report. And in their State of Entrepreneurship Report recognized that there was a need for physical space for entrepreneurs to gather. And so what we've observed is that there's this kind of hierarchy of needs for entrepreneurs.
Right.
At the very base of that is workspace. That people just need a place to work, a place to get their job done. And then kind of up from that that serves as a means to build a community and to have other people like you and to meet others that can help you along the way. And then from there, getting connected to resources, those things that actually move you forward in your business. And I think why 36 Degrees North is so important is we address that fundamental issue that really wasn't being addressed other than some smaller facilities around the city, but nothing really at scale. So now we're able to widen that funnel of getting people into the space and then have more community, more resources.
And you've kind of touched on why co-working is important, but people may not even be familiar with that term.
So co-working is really just simply a place for people to come and share office space. They share the overhead cost of having someone at the front desk, of a printer, of coffee, all those things. So it's an affordable way to share space. And you may not need, the place you're sitting, 40 hours a week. You may only need it 8 hours a week, so why not share that?
Right.
But ultimately, that's that bottom level piece of I need some physical space.
Right.
But I think why people stick with co-working once they start is the people of just getting connected and knowing that you're not alone. Being an entrepreneur can be a really lonely experience.
Yeah, and so you said you serve everyone from someone that just has this idea that maybe just a crazy idea that they want to explore to someone that's more established but still has some work to do. So tell us about how you serve that latter person.
So I think there's all along the kind of entrepreneurial path. There, you build an expertise in an area, but there's always going to be things that you don't know, and things are changing. And so maybe I've been in business for 30 years, but I don't understand social media marketing or some other maybe technology component of entrepreneurship that's so core of entrepreneurship these days. And so it's an opportunity to just meet other people that can fill that piece of the puzzle for you. And I think there's also a value of entrepreneurs have this desire to give back, you know, especially the entrepreneurs who've been successful one or two or three times, can see like, okay, I know what it's like to be there. They have this real sense of empathy. And so they want to give back and they want to share so they can get involved as mentors as coaches, things like that.
Yeah. So tell us about some of the different businesses that have been launched out of 36 Degrees North. And we'll meet a couple of them later in the show, but who else? What types of businesses?
Yeah, there's you know, a wide range. We have over 40 industries represented in our membership here. A lot have, you know, some sort of technology component, whether they're actually a software company or not. They use technology, things like apps, services businesses, so architects, law firms, accountants, things like that, to startup nonprofits, which are really not very different from, you know, a for-profit startup. They go through a lot of the same issues. They just aren't getting to keep the profits at the end of the day or distribute it.
Reinvesting it.
Yeah, they're reinvesting into their mission. So, you know, a wide range of people kind of just always knowing like, hey, this is my one person company and that's all it's ever going to be, to people who have, you know, dreams of taking over the world.
Right. That's great. And so the part of what you're doing is helping to connect people outside of the community into 36 Degrees North. And so Tulsa has often been rated as one of the best places for entrepreneurs in the U.S., especially young entrepreneurs. What do you think 36 Degrees North does to help foster that environment?
I think for us, we see ourselves as this kind of flag bearer for entrepreneurship in Tulsa. We want to spend the time, the effort to promote what's happening here, you know, so whether it's actually at 36 Degrees North or one of our members or one of our partner organizations or just something cool happening in Tulsa. And I think the more that we can, you know, share that story, the more it gets shared, and then I think that's part of us starting to believe, you know, there's a lot of great things happening in Tulsa, but there's also this self-doubt, I think, that comes with being in the Midwest.
Sure. Yeah, no, I know what you
just
mean. Yeah.
Kind of ingrained into us.
Yeah.
And so we want to, people don't want to brag on themselves oftentimes, so we can brag on them and brag on the cool things they're doing. And that's a really cool opportunity, I think, to make it become a reality.
Yeah, and now one of the many things I love about 36 Degrees North is that you've incorporated some really innovative elements into your design of the facility. One thing is, of course, the standing desk conference rooms. How did you get the idea to do that, and what are some of the ways that you've made this a really cutting edge place that helps just feel it has a creative energy when you walk in?
Yeah, I think we're probably one of the most efficient office spaces in Tulsa. You know, I think we can cram a lot of people in this space doing a lot of different things.
And you do for 1 million cups, for example.
Yeah, we'll have you know, several hundred people a day, you know, different folks coming through and using the space, and it's a little bit different from a typical office where it's like, this is my desk, no one can touch it. You know, we have people coming in and out all day. So across like all of our different conference rooms, we have 7 different ones. We wanted them all to serve different purposes, different size groups. So some of them are standing rooms, some are video rooms, some are traditional boardroom style, things like that. But just rooms that people can really enable them to do the activity that they're doing, whether that's focused work or collaborative work, creative work, any of those things. So, and I think the space itself, when you walk into a room or into an area, you immediately recognize, like, okay, this is what this room is for. And I think that's a cool psychological help that we can offer to entrepreneurs. I think there's also the importance of the investment we spent on the space of when you walk in, you realize, like, okay, this is a legit office.
Yes.
This is not, you know, cobbled together or anything like that. And that goes again to the psychological, you know, empowering entrepreneurs that are here that are saying, you're at a real office, you need to do real work on real businesses. You're not playing entrepreneur.
Right, and you could potentially meet with a potential client here and not be at Starbucks, for example. And yeah, when you're here, you definitely get that feeling. How are you funded?
So it's a combination, a really cool way of having the philanthropic community, the business community all come together. So, initially a lot of our idea came from the George Kaiser Family Foundation and the Lobeck Taylor Family Foundation, who really kind of went together and said, okay, we're going to make this happen, and we believe in this, and we really drove it forward. But then it couldn't have happened without groups like the Tulsa Regional Chamber, is a major supporter of ours, the Tulsa Tech, OU, OSU, some corporate, law firms, accounting firms, people doing in-kind training who will say, hey, we'll donate this service to your members so they can use it. So a big chunk of it comes from that, and then a big chunk also comes from membership revenue that we get from our members, from conference rooms, things like that, and that goes a long way towards our sustainability as an organization of, we're a nonprofit, but we run like a startup, figuring out, okay, how can we make this grow and get bigger?
Sure. So why the Brady District? You could have been located anywhere in Tulsa. How did you choose that?
It's been really amazing to see the Brady Arts District grow, to see, the fact that just there's people down here all the time. And so it was a natural fit for us as a place to, there's places to live down here, places to eat, places to hang out. It really wasn't a workplace. So it was a natural fit for us to want to be down here, where folks could live upstairs and then work downstairs. And I think young people, there's a natural attraction to this part of town, wanting to be down here. So I think it was just a no-brainer for us, wanting to get people walking by, be able to see the place. And it again goes to this kind of central hubness of who we are as an identity, is that you can pretty easily access 36 Degrees North from anywhere in Tulsa. So that was important.
And what a great part of the evolution to the Brady District, because it used to be this part of downtown was you would never think about opening a business here, and now it's a no-brainer. Why wouldn't we?
Absolutely, yeah. It's really it's been amazing to see. Now it's hard to find a parking spot, which is a great problem to have.
Definitely. So if someone's heard this, I think this is exactly what I need to get my business started. How do they get involved?
I think the first step is to show up. Whether that is literally walking in the front door and asking questions. We do tours where people can come learn about actually using the space. And then we host, like I said, a ton of events. On our website, you can either sign up for our email newsletter we send out every Sunday night, or you can just see our calendar of upcoming events. Almost all of our events are free and open to the public. So you can come to a workshop, you can go to 1 Million Cups, any of those things. And just being here, I think you get the energy is contagious. You get caught up in what's going on, and then kind of taking steps forward from there.
So did I understand you right? You don't have to be a member to attend some of the events?
Correct. Most of the events. I'd say probably at least 85% of the events are free and open to the public.
That's a really neat service to the community. Yeah. So let's fast forward 10 years.
Yeah.
Where would you like to see Tulsa, just from the entrepreneurial perspective as well as just from the city perspective?
Yeah, I think in 10 years I'd love to see 36 Degrees North, Tulsa have grown, have matured, more companies. We have a lot of baby companies here right now who are just starting out, and some of them aren't going to make it, but some are going to make it. And so seeing those companies growing, being able to grow and stay here, I think that's really key. And then those companies investing back into the community. So seeing a cycle of those companies growing, having some sort of great event happen, whether that's acquisition or IPO or something like that, and then be able to invest back in the community. That would be the ultimate goal, I think.
That's great. Well, we'll look forward to seeing that. I'm sure it's going to happen.
It's just a matter of time.
That's right. So. Dustin, thank you so much for visiting with you. We'll look forward to hearing from a couple of your members in a minute.
Thanks, Anina.
Thanks. Last Night's Game and ABAV are two companies that have used the expertise of 36 Degrees North to start their entrepreneurial journey. We sat down with Amy Siegfried and Andrew Brister to talk about their experience. Up next on The District. Amy, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So, your business, Last Night's Game. Give us the elevator pitch. What is it?
So, Last Night's Game exists for those who don't know a lot about sports but want to join the conversation. So we have a tri-weekly email publication that goes out and breaks down the trending topics in sports, so what everybody's talking about at the water cooler, in an easy to understand conversational way.
That, I'm the perfect person to interview you for this, because while I consider myself a well-informed person, I know nothing about sports, and I imagine that's probably part of who you're hoping your client base will be.
It really is, and our readers are actually across the country, across the world. And it's great because a lot of fans, especially here in Oklahoma, are football fans, but they may have clients in California who are golf fans or people in New York who are tennis fans. And so we cover everything that's happening at this time. That way you can talk to anybody about anything that's happening.
That's so interesting. You said this is U.S. sports,
Correct.
and it's all types of sports, everything from, like you said, tennis to football, college and professional.
Correct.
Is that correct?
So we cover really everything, whatever's really happening in sports at this point. And we try to find some off-the-wall things that are really memorable for people to understand.
I see. So you're like giving them a little tidbit of information they can use to start the conversation, but not too much where they sound like they're just kind of talking about something they don't know about.
Correct. Our goal is you'll receive an email 3 times a week, and it'll take you 3 minutes to read it. And that's because I find that our attention span is getting shorter. But,
That's true.
But also people only have so much time in the day, so why waste it reading something really long and obtrusive?
Yeah, you don't need like all the breakdown and commentary. You just need to know the headlines.
Right, and we try to make it entertaining because no one's going to learn if it's boring.
Yeah.
So that's our whole goal, is to get a little outside the box and make it enjoyable.
That's so interesting. So I said, I could be a potential client. Who do you envision as your potential clients?
They are actually women like you. The majority of our readers are professional women who need to use sports in a work environment. Like it or not, many of our industries are still male dominated, and so that's really important. And then it's funny, we actually have this great group of men who follow us too, because they love the quirky facts, but they also love being able to learn about what their clients are into. So that's been really an interesting development for us.
Oh, sure. And there are a lot of men out there that aren't into
Right.
sports either. So this, they often feel expected to talk about
Right.
it, and so this can be
Right.
a good way for them to learn.
We have one of our readers who he reads every time before he goes to the barber shop. He makes sure he covers it so he can
So he
go.
can talk to the
He's a
barber.
tech guy. He's like, I don't know what
Yeah.
to talk about. So
Yeah.
he goes and reads so he's prepared for the barber shop.
That's great. So how did you get the idea for this business?
So I had the idea about 15 years ago when I was working in professional sports. I worked in Major League Baseball, and all my girlfriends had no idea what was going on in sports. And so I kind of thought, how do they talk to the men at their office? We were 20, how do they go on dates?
Yeah.
What do they talk about? And so I called my brother with this idea because he's sort of the sports guru of our household, and said, hey, we need to put something together that breaks this down and make it easy, because none of my friends know what's going on. And I was working 80 hours a week at that time, and he was in high school, so it never came to fruition.
best time
Not
to
the
start a
ideal
business.
time to
Yeah.
do that. So it never came to fruition until about a year and a half ago.
So you really had, a decade or more of letting this idea kind of incubate, and then take us then from your working for the Arizona Diamondbacks to you're here in Tulsa at 36 degrees north. How did you end up here?
It's a long journey, but my husband and I moved from Phoenix to Singapore, where we lived for 2 years.
Oh, that's interesting.
We moved for his career, and then I worked in advertising and marketing, and then we moved to Tulsa about a year and a half ago for his job again.
Yeah.
And really came here and fell in love with 36 degrees north, and that was a huge. 36 degrees north made Tulsa home for me.
That's amazing. So what did it give you that maybe another organization couldn't?
Well, I was working from home, which a lot of people do, but wasn't feeling very satisfied, very gratified, because you're by yourself. Like it or not, you're not making connections. For me, I was in a new city,
Right.
so I didn't have those connections of even an outlet of someone to go have coffee with.
Right.
And that was really huge. It gave me a sense of community. But the folks here are really, really helpful. I've had people connect me with their contacts in New York City when I went out there for meetings, and all over the country. And I think that's the really important part. I'm a member of the steering committee for 1 Million Cups, and that's been a huge facet for me to be able to go and talk in other cities about what we do.
Can you tell really briefly
Sure.
what 1 Million Cups is?
So 1 Million Cups is a national platform started by the Kauffman Foundation, and they have, I think they're up to 120 different cities that the platform is basically come in as an entrepreneur and talk about what your business is. Talk about the problem that you're solving and how you're solving it. And so that's essentially the concept, and it's great to be able to go into a different city and be able to share with people what you're doing.
Right.
And it's because that's something I don't think many people could do otherwise. And so it's a
Really
great
gives
concept
a great
too.
outlet
It
and
is.
venue for that sort of thing. And so, how fortunate for you that you ended up in Tulsa. It's been, as I know you are aware, rated as one of the top 10 cities for young entrepreneurs, especially about entrepreneurs in the U.S. Places like 36 Degrees North and 1 Million Cups have really helped change the landscape for entrepreneurs. What else about Tulsa has helped you be successful?
You know, I think there's a great sense of community in Tulsa. It's a small community, but it's not a small community, if that makes sense. There's really this sense of being they have some facets of a big city. I think you have a lot of people who have great business experience, have been well traveled, and really see what's going on in the world. And I think that's been really helpful. I've had a lot of really great people say, well, let me help you this, or can I connect you to this person?
Yeah.
And that's how, as an entrepreneur, we grow.
Right.
It's very hard for us to operate in a silo, and even though we're a national brand, it's securing what you do at home and really having that help at home and making those connections is really important.
Yeah, well, I'm so glad to hear that's been a benefit to you. So in the few seconds that we have left, 5 years from now, where do you want your business to be?
I'd like us to be the point where we're a nationally recognized brand. I'd love to be up in the capacity of, we're not trying to compete with an ESPN, and nor will we probably get to that point,
Right.
but would like to be of that level. And
Yeah.
my dream one day is to be on the Today Show. So that's
Great.
maybe 5 years or less.
All right, well, we'll hope to see you
Perfect.
there, Amy. Thank you so
Thank
much
you very
for
much.
telling us about last night's game.
Thank you for having me.
And we're back with Andrew Brister of ABAV. Andrew, tell us what that acronym means and give us the elevator pitch for your business.
So, Andrew Brister, Architecture and Visualization. I'm an architect, and I always say I do architecture-related things for architects and contractors. But I'm a building scanner, so we do as-built building conditions and construction documentation in 3D models for real-world applications.
Interesting. And so tell us who your clients are, or the client you're looking to target.
So right now I'm targeting mostly architects, architects and sometimes contractors, and I'm trying to find the owners, the development owners that would be a good fit for me as well. But right now, because I'm an architect, I think I know architects pretty okay.
Yeah.
So that's my primary client focus.
I see. So for the non-architects, can you explain a little bit more in layperson terms what the services that you're offering?
So when an architect goes to build a new building, actually not even a new building, an existing building like this one for instance, they need to know what's actually there inside the building so that they can understand what are we demolishing, what are we keeping, what needs to change.
So this could be everything from like, this is a load-bearing wall and you can't move it, to there's pipes here. Is that okay?
Exactly. The engineers also will need it for everything that they do as well. So I go in kind of as a reconnaissance, first, that first push to see what's actually in the building, and my documentation gets the entire building all at one time, so that the architect only has to come once. Actually, the entire design team only has to come once, and then we can build that in to give for the web and actually provide them a space where they can come and actually tour. Then we provide all of the measurements, and then I provide a what's called a BIM model. It's basically a 3D working architectural model for the client, for the engineer, for the architect, and for the contractor should they need it.
I see.
So that they can get started designing without that whole time and investigation.
Right. So you kind of use your background as an architect to identify this little niche that you felt like could be a business opportunity.
Yeah.
And so what did 36 Degrees help you do that you wouldn't have been able to do without them?
Well, I was everything.
Okay, that's a good endorsement.
The first day that I was here for a tour just to kind of check out the space, and I got connected with an insurance agent who led me to a lawyer who led me to an accountant. And then these people have been kind of my creative design team about the business. they're kind of a board of directors. They're people I can bounce ideas off of. Whenever I was first going into my very first client presentation, I have to give my presentation to somebody.
Right.
So I sent out an invitation
Yeah.
to our instant messaging here and said, hey, would anybody have a spare 20 minutes to give me some feedback?
That's
and
so
I got
great.
David from the Urata Center, I got people from 36, and a number of other people who have a lot more experience in this than I have, to give me some really, really solid feedback. I wouldn't have had that if I was at home.
That's fantastic. So would you say that you're an architect with very little business experience, and then 36 Degrees North help you flesh out that side of your entrepreneurial skill set?
I would say yes. The first statement, yes, the architect with very little business experience. I've always been interested in that side of it, but the practical applications are so, so foreign.
Right.
As an architect, you're focused on getting that next job and doing a killer design. Here, though, I would say the biggest thing that 36 has helped me with is just the networking, the putting me in touch with people to help me improve my business skills. And basically everybody that I know that has helped me in business has been from here.
Oh, that's so good to hear. So your business is only 8 months old.
Yeah.
I assume the idea of it started a long time ago. When did you start mentally working on the idea for your business?
Probably about a year or so ago.
Yeah.
I jumped around a little bit between, a photography job, a 3D design job, another couple of architecture firms here in Oklahoma. And I've always been interested in the combination of all of these various things. So it was kind of a natural fit, and it was something that I think is I think it's something that's needed in the construction design world.
So would you picture that your clients would be really just in Greater Tulsa, or regional, or even bigger than that?
Oh, well, my end of line plan is that I have the single family household that is documenting their building, as well as the prince out in Dubai documenting his new $500 billion hotel.
I see.
So
all right, it's a good dream.
You gotta think big.
Yeah, I like it. Well, my next question was going to be, where would you be in 5 years with your business? And I think you just told us.
Hopefully in Dubai.
Yeah.
And realistically speaking, I'd at least like to be in a couple extra states.
Yeah.
But yeah, bigger than me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, great. Andrew, thank you so much for telling us more about your business, and good luck.
Thank you very much. It's been great talking to you.
Thanks for joining us on The District. You can find out more about 36 Degrees North at 36degreesnorth.co, and you can find out about everything happening in the Brady Arts District at thebradyartsdistrict.com. We'll see you next time on The District.